Honorable Deputy Speaker, Senior Deputy Speaker Dong Gonzales, Honorable Deputy Speaker J.J. Suarez, distinguished co-chairs and vice chair, honorable colleagues, fellow public servants, resource persons, ladies and gentlemen, magandang umaga po sa ating lahat. Today is a historic day for the 19th Congress. This is the 15th and final public hearing of the Joint Committee composed of the Committee on Dangerous Drugs, Public Order and Safety, Human Rights, and Public Accounts. What we have all witnessed in the Quadcom investigations are almost unbelievable. One for the replees, with unnerving twists and turns, bloody conspiracies, unexpected seeming coincidences, leaving behind a gruesome trail of blood, making all mafia movies look tame and boring. Yet with one cohesive plot that makes any conspiracy theory, Hollywood and James Bond movies combined pale in comparison. Taken together, it is fair to say that we didn't know what hit us. Taken together, there can be no other logical conclusion than, yes, the Chinese raped us, but we helped them rape us. Bayan ko, binihag ka, nasadlak sa dusa. The words betrayal, traitors, unpatriotic are not enough to describe the despicable, wicked, and perhaps even evil acts of collaboration that some of our leaders, elected officials, and civil servants extended to these criminals. The inquiry conducted in aid of legislation confronted some of the most alarming and deeply rooted threats to our nation. Extrajudicial killings as a result of a much publicized drug war, the illegal drug trade then and now, and the illicit operations of POGOs sponsored by and courtesy of Executive Order Number 13. Throughout the course of our investigation, the committee has painstakingly unraveled a network of interrelated crimes that undermine our national security, erode the rule of law, and threaten the very foundations of our sovereignty. The findings are deeply troubling, indisputable, and call for urgent, decisive action. On the matter of POGOs, our hearings established that their rapid growth was triggered by the issuance of Executive Order Number 13. Although these operations were initially presented as engines of economic growth, promising jobs and foreign investments, those benefits were quickly overshadowed by a surge in various criminal activities. POGO hubs have evolved into breeding grounds for transnational crime. Human trafficking, crypto scams, money laundering, identity fraud, torture, and even murder. Our hearings revealed that these hubs have harbored fugitives such as Wang Ziyang, the owner of the Hongsheng Gaming Technology, as well as Zhang Ruijin and Lin Baoying, both convicted in Singapore for money laundering. Perhaps the most alarming case is that of former Banban Mayor Alice Go, unmasked as Go Waping, allegedly a Chinese national who infiltrated our political system using fraudulent documents. This is not merely an immigration violation. It is a serious threat to our national security. Quadcom uncovered a disturbing pattern involving the fraudulent acquisition of Philippine citizenship by foreign nationals, often facilitated by falsified civil registry documents, and in many cases, with the willing participation and even facilitation of public officials, making them complicit in the commission of these crimes. Individuals such as Go Waping, Willie Ong, Eddie Tai Yang, Tony Yang posed as Filipinos, allowing them to acquire land, control corporations, and operate under the guise of legality, effectively circumventing our laws on nationalization and foreign ownership. One of the most telling examples is the Empire 999 Realty Corporation. As uncovered by this committee, It is composed of foreign nationals posing as Filipino citizens and is directly linked to the seizure of 3.6 billion worth of methamphetamine or shabu from a warehouse in Mexico, Pampanga. Following our investigation, the Securities and Exchange Commission revoked the company's registration. Empire 999, along with affiliates like Lucky South 99, has been tied to a broader criminal network engaged in drug trafficking, land grabbing, human trafficking, investment scams, and money laundering. These are not isolated incidents. The evidence paints a clear picture of a well-coordinated Chinese criminal syndicate operating through layers of corporate entities, nominee shareholders, and corrupt public officials. Prominent figures such as Michael Yang, also known as Hong Ming Yang, and Wei Xiong Lin are repeatedly linked to this network through entities like Farmally Corporation and Piley Holdings, names that have surfaced not only in POGO-related investigations but also in our probes into the illegal drug trade. Equally pressing is what we have uncovered regarding the so-called war on drugs under the Duterte administration. Launched with the promise of eradicating criminality in 3 to 6 months, this campaign devolved into a state-sponsored bloodbath that normalized extrajudicial killings as a policy. Our hearings confirm the existence of a reward system in which police officers were incentivized through cash or promotions or favorable assignments for neutralizing individuals listed in the so-called narco list. The narrative was chillingly consistent. Suspects supposedly fought back, non-laban, thereby justifying the use of lethal force. We have also heard credible accounts of how inclusion in the narco list was used to settle personal and political scores, destroying reputations, careers, and lives without due process. It was a war not only on drugs, but in many cases on justice itself. The numbers speak for themselves. Official PNP records report 7,640 deaths during police operations from July of 2016 to June of 2022. Human rights organizations estimate that the real figure could be as high as 30,000. Whatever the final tally, the testimonies we have received, often harrowing, sometimes from law enforcement officers themselves, confirm a systematic pattern of abuse where legal safeguards were discarded and human lives were treated as expendable. We heard chilling accounts from the families of victims, from rights defenders, and from former officers who admitted their participation in extrajudicial killings, like the assassination of Attorney Wesley Barayuga, an official of the PCSO and retired military general. We also gave voice to individuals unjustly included in the narco list, helping them reclaim their dignity and seek redress. Let me be clear, these are not mere allegations. Our findings are anchored on official documents, sworn testimonies, financial records, land registries, corporate filings, and in some cases, direct admissions. The record is clear and damning. The duty now falls upon us to ensure that these findings lead to real consequences. We must demand accountability, not only for the victims of extrajudicial killing, this policies that will hold public officials accountable, reform our law enforcement institutions, and restore faith in justice and the rule of law. Mula sa mga drug lords sa pangunguna ni Michael Yang, na ni minsan ay hindi humarap sa pandinig, salamat sa kanya mga Pilipinong abogado, hanggang sa pagkakalat ng mga ilegal na droga na bumibiktima ng mga Pilipino na walang awang pinatay upang pagkakitaan at sa paglaganap ng Philippine state-sponsored Chinese Pogos na nagsilbing taguan ng mga kriminal at mga salaping kinita sa ilegal na droga na pinambili ng mga lupa, pinangsuhol sa mga politiko, ginamit sa eleksyon noon at ngayon, at pambayad sa mga traidor na politiko at kawani ng gobyerno kapalit ng kanilang tulong at pakikipagsabwatan upang mabigyan ng huwad o pekeng pagkakakilanlan ang mga dayuhang kriminal. Nakakagulat malaman na ang lahat ng ito ay coordinated o magkakaugnay na para bang may isang taga-kumpas at ang lahat ay sumusunod. Nakakapanindig balahibo ang mga natuklasan ng Quadcom. Masalimuot, subalit nahimay natin at napagtagpi-tagpi ang lahat. Balikan ninyo ang mga pangalan ng mga personalidad na binanggit at nasangkot sa lahat ng usapin. Hindi sila mga ordinaryong Pilipino o ordinaryong politiko, nakakagimbal at nakakatakot. Sila ang magkakasabwat sa natuklasan ng Quadcom. At ang tanong ngayon sa ating mga sarili, ano na Juan de la Cruz? Saan katatayo? Maraming salamat at magandang umaga po sa ating lahat. The next to deliver his opening remarks is the Chair of the Committee on Public Order and Safety, Congressman Dan Fernandez. You are now recognized.
Maraming salamat po, Mr. Chair. Magandang umaga po sa ating lahat. On behalf of my co-chairs, I welcome you to the 15th Quadcom hearing. To my colleagues, resource persons present in this hall today, and to the viewers on our live stream. Matanong ko nga po kayo, tapos na nga po ba ang Pogo? O ito ay nagtatago lamang sa ibang anyo at pangalan? Nakalipas ang ilang buwan mula ng unang public hearing ng Quadcom sa Bacolor, Pampanga noong August 16, 2024. Noong September 5, 2024 naman, inutos ng Pangulo ang agad-agad na pagbabawal ng Pogo sa bansa sa pamamagitan ng Executive Order No. 74. Sa ngayon, sinampahan na ng mga kasong money laundering at qualified human trafficking ang mga pangunahing personalidad sa Pogo, tulad nila Guo Waping na dating mayor ng Bambantarlac, si Catherine Cassandra Ong at Atty. Harry Roque at marami pang iba. Sa ating pagdinig ngayong umaga, muling inimbitahan ng Quadcom ang Anti-Money Laundering Council, ang Department of Justice, ang Interagency Council Against Trafficking o IACAT, at ang Presidential Anti-Organized Crime Commission o PAOC upang bigyan tayo ng mga updates ukol sa mga kasong isinampa na laban sa mga personalidad ng Pogo. Ayon sa PAOC, tuloy-tuloy at lagana pa rin ang operasyon ng Pogo. At higit sa 10,000 mga Pogo workers ang nananatiling at large dito sa ating bansa. Sa ating nakaraang mga hearing, na ipakita ng PAOC ang kanilang pagiging proactive sa mga law enforcement operations laban sa mga illegal Anti-Offshore Gaming Operation Act. Layunin ng panukalang batas na magtakda ng ilang matitibay at di matitinag na probisyon laban sa muling pagsulpot ng mga Pogo sa bansa. Sa ilalim ng House Bill No. 10987, ipapawalang bisa ang dalawang batas na may kaugnayan sa offshore gaming, ang Executive Order No. 13 na ipinalabas ng panahon ni dating Pangulong Duterte at ang Republic Act No. 11590 o ang batas na nagtatakda ng buwis para sa mga Pogo. Upang maiwasan ang pagbabalik ng offshore gaming operation sa anumang anyo, dapat nating ipatubad ang mahigpit na polisiya laban sa mga Pogo sa anumang anyo nito. Kabilang dito ang pagsasara ng mga butas sa batas, pagpapatibay ng mga kontrol sa imigrasyon at sa mga entry at exit points sa bansa, at mas matatag na koordinasyon sa pagitan ng mga ahensya ng gobyerno, bangko at intelligence units. Bagamat nakasuhan na ang mga ilang personalidad na nasa likod ng human trafficking, money laundering at iba pang mga krimen kaugnay ng mga operasyon ng Pogo, ang mga banyagang sangkot na maituturing na masterminds dito, gaya nila Wang Xiyang, Duaren Wu at Michael Yang, ay hindi pa nahahanap ng mga otoridad. Para hindi na muling makaporma ang Pogo sa anumang anyo sa ating bansa, nararapat na ating siguraduhin na hindi sila makakapagtago sa likod ng pekeng negosyo. May tiwala ako sa ating mga kapulisan at iba pang law enforcement agencies na hindi sila bibitaw sa kanilang tungkulin. Chief Nicolas Torre, malaki po ang inyong responsibilidad laban dito sa Pogo. 10,000 po ang mga Pogo operators na nagkalat pa po sa ating bansa. Sa inyong tapang at kisig, alam po namin na itong pong 10,000 ito ay mahuhuli natin. Ganoon din po kay General Gilbert Cruz at ang ating pang ibang mga ahensya. Inaasahan po namin ang inyong masusi at malawakang pagpapairal ng ating pong sinumpang tungkulin. Sa mga small Pogo operators, ito yung mga tinatawag natin ngayon ng mga backyard. Backyard na lang ginagawa po nila, pero patuloy po sila nag-ooperate. Na nagtatago ngayon, umanda kayo. Sa masangkot sa human trafficking, money laundering, scam, torture, kidnapping, at iba pang mga kababuyan na nagtatago sa ibang bansa, may araw din kayo. Hahabulin kayo ng batas at hindi ito titigil hanggang makulong kayong lahat. Walang pakialam ang batas kung opisyal ka noon o may koneksyon ka ngayon. Mananagot ka pa rin sa mga kalupitan na hinayaan mong gawin sa kapwa mo kababayan. Panalo ka man noon sa Pogo, ngayon, tapos na ang laro. Ngayon, hustisya naman ang mananalo. Maraming salamat po.
Thank you, Congressman Dan Fernandez. The next to deliver his opening remarks is the Chair of the Committee on Human Rights, ably represented by the Vice Chair, Congressman Zia Jong. You are now recognized.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chair. Before I read the prepared remarks, opening remarks of Chairman Abante, Mr. Chair, I'd just like to inform the public and especially my constituents that should I quote a biblical passage throughout the speech, it does not necessarily express my own political religious views. And have no fellowship with the unfruitful works of darkness, but rather reprove them. Ephesians chapter 5, verse 11. Mr. Chair, esteemed colleagues, our courageous and principled resource persons, and fellow servants of the people. This is the final hearing of the Quad Committee, but let no one say that this is the end. No. This is just the beginning of justice, the beginning of reform, the beginning of national repentance. Today we stand at the edge of a long and winding road, scarred by injustice, darkened by silence, but now illuminated by the truth that we laid bare. What began as a search for answers has evolved into a reckoning. Through these hearings, we have not merely uncovered wrongdoings, we have brought these evils into the light, where they can no longer hide behind rank, uniform, or position. These halls have heard the cries of the voiceless and the powerless, and their echoes will resound in the laws we have forged and the path we have opened for the law to take its course. For we have exposed not just wrongdoings, but a system that allowed evil to thrive. We have heard accounts that chilled the soul, of lives discarded like refuse, of uniforms used to conceal lawlessness, of badges used as instruments of fear. But we did not turn away. We listened, we dug deep, and most importantly, we acted. Hindi lang tayo nakinig, hindi lang tayo naawa, tayo ay kumilos. Out of this darkness, we brought forth the light of legislation. We filed measures to close the gaps that allowed impunity to reign. Among them, Mr. Chairman, House Bill number 10986, which classifies and punishes extrajudicial killing as a heinous crime and provides reparations to the families of its victims, those whose only crime was to be poor, voiceless, and in the wrong place at the wrong time. House Bill number 10987, which prohibits all forms of offshore gaming operations, finally ending the national scourge that is Pogo, an enterprise soaked in blood, corruption, and human misery. Inaasahan po natin na ito ay may papasa bago matapos ang 19th Congress. House Bill number 11043, which allows the civil forfeiture of real estate unlawfully acquired by foreign nationals, ensuring that this land, our land, cannot be bought with lies and false identities. House Bill number 11117, which empowers the state to administratively cancel birth certificates fraudulently obtained by foreigners, reclaiming our national identity from those who have abused our laws. And House Bill number 10998, which punishes the conspiracy and proposal to commit espionage, a timely warning to those who dare compromise our sovereignty and security. All this, Mr. Chairman, has been possible because good people chose not to be silent. All this, lahat ito, we owe to those who dared to speak when it was easier to remain silent. I thank my fellow chairs and colleagues who stood firm through doubt and pressure, some of whom have paid the ultimate political price for their principles. I thank the brave witnesses, whistleblowers, survivors, patriots who told the truth even when the truth could cost them everything. But let the record also show there were those who lied. There were those who fled, those who twisted the truth, who buried evidences, who used power not to protect the people but to shield themselves from the people's judgment. To them, I say, your day will come. To them, we say this: you may escape our reach, but not the long arms of the law. The law may sometimes move slowly, but it moves. And justice, true justice, never forgets. This is the message of the Quad Committee hearings, that in an age of moral compromise, we chose to stand firm. That even when evil seemed entrenched and overwhelming, we did not turn away. Through our work, we have reminded every evildoer, every coward in uniform, every merchant of death and deceit, your time is up. The legacy of the Quad Committee is not a single law, not a single report, but a declaration. No more. No more shall this republic tolerate murder disguised as law enforcement. No more shall our laws be twisted to serve the greedy and corrupt. No more shall we allow evil to grow in silence, fed by fear and impunity. We have learned, and because we have learned, we will not allow these evils to return. This is the work of public service. This is the burden and the blessing of those called to both preach and to legislate. And as long as I draw breath, I will speak out, stand firm, and fight on. God bless our work, and may God bless the Republic of the Philippines. Congressman Benny Abante, Chairman of the Committee on Human Rights. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you very much, Congressman Zia. The next and finally the last to deliver his opening remarks is the Chair of the Committee on Public Accounts, Congressman Paduano, you are now recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Good morning, everyone. My co-chairs have already outlined the reasons behind the formation of this Quad Committee and have clearly explained why it is urgent and timely to address the societal problems that had come to light in our hearings. So I will not no longer go in that direction. What I would like to emphasize is that while our investigation has implicated several Chinese individuals in the issue at hand, this should not in any way be construed as state-sponsored racism against our fellow citizens of Chinese descent or nationals from mainland China. Our government must never be used as a tool to oppress or discriminate against any particular ethnicity or nationality. On the contrary, we have consistently encouraged kindness, respect, and responsiveness toward people of all backgrounds. Amidst the growing tension over the West Philippine Sea issue, we must confront the reality that there are both Filipino citizens and Chinese nationals who have allowed themselves to be used to undermine our institutions and sow division among our people. They may not be many, but the impact of their treason is deeply felt across the nation. Just this year, several Chinese, along with their Filipino cohorts, were apprehended by authorities for engaging in espionage activities targeting our vital facilities. Just imagine, our government spends billions to modernize our defense facilities, purchase advanced radar systems, and acquire modern fighter jets and missiles. Yet, in an instant, this expensive equipment could be swiftly destroyed by cheap drones operated by the spies if they were ordered to do so. This illustrates the gravity of the problem we face. This is why I am thankful that through the Quad Committee, we fulfilled our duty by uncovering these critical issues and bringing them to public attention for greater awareness. Through the collaboration of various government agencies, our government now can respond to the blatant intrusion of foreign influence into our nation. But as we confront these emerging military threats, it is equally important to address those we have already unearthed in the course of our inquiry, such as the activities of certain Chinese nationals who aim to sabotage our economy and corrupt our government personnel. As you know, the numerous hearings we conducted reveal that these unscrupulous individuals would deliberately resort to illegal means in an attempt to lend a semblance of legitimacy to their unlawful intentions. In fact, it was the Committee on Public Accounts that first uncovered the scheme orchestrated by these Chinese nationals who fraudulently secured Philippine birth certificates to unlawfully exercise rights exclusive to Filipino citizens. Through this deception, they managed to acquire vast tracts of land in various parts of the country, such as in the case of Eddie Yang and Willie Ong in Mexico, Pampanga. These individuals, falsely claiming to be Filipinos, successfully acquired several parcels of land in the municipality and subsequently utilized these properties for the commission of other unlawful activities such as drug trafficking. If you will recall, in September 2023, authorities raided the warehouse owned by Empire 999 Incorporated, seizing 3.6 billion worth of shabu. Notably, Eddie Yang and Willie Ong were both incorporators of Empire 999. Naturally, such operation could not have been carried out without the complicity of certain public officials and government personnel who appeared to prioritize their self-serving interest over national security. Records indicate that none other than the former mayor of the municipality, Mayor Ted Tumang, facilitated some of these questionable transactions. In fact, during a separate hearing, it was revealed that Mayor Tumang, together with the Sangguniang Bayan of Mexico, Pampanga, dubiously reclassified a parcel of agricultural land as a commercial property, thereby inflating its market value. This property